Hey, oh, there you are. I wrote you a letter today, but since you're here, I'll just go ahead and read it for you. Um, Dear younger me, I know you think you're late, late to success, late to money, late to peace, late to figuring it all out. I remember that feeling like it was yesterday, laying awake in bed at night, doing math in my head that never worked out, comparing where I was to where I thought I should be by now, watching other people reach milestones and wondering what I missed or what the hell's wrong with me. So let me tell you this right up front because it will save you years. You're not behind. You never were. You were just measuring yourself with someone else's clock. When you're young, nobody tells you that timelines are mostly made up. We inherit them, we absorb them, we treat them like law. By this age, you should be married. By this age, you should have a house. By this age, you should have children. If you don't, something must be wrong with you. And the truth is, most of those timelines were created by people trying to sell certainty in an uncertain world. I know you felt in your chest every time someone asked you, "So, what are you doing now?" That question didn't feel like it was curious. It felt like a verdict. It felt like a judgment. You smiled, you explained, you downplayed, you joked, but inside you were keeping score and you always thought you were losing a game that you really weren't playing. There was no game to play. And here's the part you couldn't see then. You weren't late. You were early to lessons that most people never learned. You learned resilience before comfort, humility before applause, perspective before power. And yes, that meant some lonely nights, days, weekends, months, some quiet wins. No one clapped for you. Some moments when you wondered if the slow path meant the wrong path. It didn't. It meant you were becoming someone solid. Back then, you thought success was speed. No, it's alignment. Speed looks impressive, but alignment lasts forever. I've watched people who've made it fast, spend decades trying to outrun consequences of shortcuts they took early. I've watched people peak before they were ready and collapse under the weight of expectations they never examined. You didn't peak early. You were building a foundation. I know you felt pressure to have answers, pressures to sound confident, pressures to pretend you knew where all of this was going. Let me give you permission you didn't give yourself. It's okay not to know yet. Not knowing isn't failure, it's honesty. The most dangerous thing you could have done wasn't moving slow, it was pretending certainty you didn't have. You took time to question, to doubt, to think for yourself. That cost you approval you constantly sought, but it saved your integrity. And trust me, that trade was absolutely worth it. You thought everyone else had figured life out. They didn't. They were just really good at marketing their chaos better than you. Social media would not have helped you. Neither would small talk or highlight reels or success stories that skip the messy middle. You compared your behind the scenes to other people's edited summaries and wondered why you couldn't catch up. But here's the secret no one tells you. Most people are winging it, even the confident ones, especially the loud ones. And the ones who never question their own paths, they usually wake up one day wondering whose life they're actually living. It's not theirs. You didn't do that. You paused, you reflected, you adjusted. It's kind of ironic that you became an adjuster. That isn't weakness, that's wisdom showing up early. If I could sit across from you right now, I'd tell you this. Stop rushing the version of you that can actually handle what you're asking for. You wanted success, but you didn't have the emotional maturity, the tools to protect it. You wanted recognition, but you didn't have or want the scrutiny that comes with it. You wanted certainty, but certainty without self knowledge became a prison. Timing matters. And you were being prepared, not punished. You thought delays and other people's responses meant denials. They didn't. They meant refinement, and you were learning discernment. Learning boundaries, learning your worth isn't measured by productivity and applause. That lesson alone will save you from a lifetime of chasing validation disguised as ambition. Let me say something else you needed to hear. You don't need to catch up to anyone. Life isn't a race with a shared finish line. It's a path with different terrain for each person walking it. Some paths look smooth early and then they get steep later. Some look steep early and then they just level out with clarity and peace. You were on the second one. And yes, that path was harder to trust, but it made you stronger where it actually counts. One day you'll realize that the things you thought delayed you actually protected you from becoming someone impressive but hollow, protected you from success without character, protected you from confusing noise for meaning. And when things finally start to click, when alignment meets opportunity, you won't just arrive, you'll be ready. So here's what I want you to remember this. Every time that voice tells you you're behind, you're not late, you're not broken, you're not failing, you're becoming. And becoming takes time. If you're listening to this right now and you feel behind right now, if you're measuring your life against someone else's timeline, I want you to hear this too. You're not late either. You're early to your own life. Stop rushing the chapter that's shaping you. And we're going to talk more about this journey, about the independence, about confidence, about faith, work, love, anger, and courage. But for now, just breathe. You're exactly where you need to be to become who you're meant to be.